Hello and welcome. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. It's good to have you again with us. Now, you're watching a special broadcast here on DD India. Remember, DD India is your one-stop destination for all the information related to COVID-19. It goes without saying that we at DD India take particular care to give you, the viewer, accurate, authentic and authoritative information so that you don't fall prey to rumors or fake news. Now, wherever in the world you might be, it is in your interest to follow protocols, advisories and guidelines issued by the authorities concerned. Now, it's day 1 of lockdown 4.0. We have 13 more days to go. The restrictions have been eased, but we are not out of the woods. The situation could quickly take a turn for the worse. So please continue to practice social distancing, wear a mask, and most importantly, keep washing your hands with soap. All right, then let's get started. First up, the headlines. Home Ministry issues a fresh advisory to the states, asks them not to dilute the list of prohibited activities. State governments announce new guidelines for lockdown 4.0. Karnataka allows cabs and public transport to run outside containment zones. Complete curfew to be imposed on Sundays. Indian Council of Medical Research revises testing strategy for COVID-19. All asymptomatic people who came in contact with a coronavirus positive person should be tested once between day 5 and day 10 of the contact. India supports call for an impartial investigation into World Health Organization's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. A draft resolution proposed for adoption by the 73rd World Health Assembly meeting in Geneva. And Brazil overtakes Italy and Spain as virus cases grow. In the United States, the death toll nears the 90,000 mark. Now, before we get to all the COVID-19 related information, I want to update you about Cyclone Umpan. Now, the extremely severe cyclonic storm over central parts of southern and central Bay of Bengal moved nearly northwards with a speed of 13 kilometers per hour during the last 6 hours. It lay centered this morning about 800 kilometers south of Paradeep in Odisha and about 1,000 kilometers south-southwest of Digha in West Bengal. Rain or thunder showers are very likely to occur at a few places over coastal Andhra Pradesh during the next 24 hours.
Extremely severe cyclone storm, उनका large scale damaging impact रहेगा West Bengal में और adjoining Bangladesh area में, और इसके साथ also some damaging impact रहेगा North Coastal Odisha districts में, और इसका wind speed होगा 165 to 175 kmph, gusting to 195 kmph. इसके साथ जो associated storm surge है, tidal wave है, वो 4 to 6 meters है. We have told our monsoon onset will be slightly delayed. Against the normal date of 1st June, we are expecting monsoon over Kerala on 5th June, Bengal, and will enter into Bangladesh. Then it will gradually weaken. It will become a depression over West Assam or over North Bangladesh. North 24 Pargana district will be worst affected, followed by West and East Medinapur district. And also we will have the effect on Hooghly, Howrah, and Kolkata districts. Expecting the north coastal districts, especially Balasore, Bhadrak, Kendrapada, and Jagatsinghpur to be affected. Balasore and Bhadrak will be nearer to the landfall point, and hence you can expect more compared to Kendrapada and Jagatsinghpur.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level meeting of Home Ministry and disaster management officials to review the cyclone Umpan situation. Multiple disaster relief teams all along the East Coast are on standby for an immediate mobilization for search, rescue and relief operations. Ships, aircraft and maritime rescue coordination centers continue to relay information on Amphan to ships and fishermen out at sea. Nearly 90 fishing boats have been escorted safely to harbour by the Coast Guard yesterday.
इंडिया अर्थात एनडीआरएफ, ये साइक्लोन अम्फन के बारे में एक अपडेट है। आज 18 की शाम है, 18 मई की शाम है। अभी जो रिपोर्ट आईएमडी से प्राप्त हुआ है कुछ देर पहले, उसके अनुसार साइक्लोन अम्फन बे ऑफ बंगाल में, बंगोप महासागर में एक सुपर साइक्लोन की शक्ल अख्तियार कर चुका है। यह एक गंभीर मामला है क्योंकि 1999 के बाद अक्टूबर 1999 में उड़ीसा में सुपर साइक्लोन आया था, जो कि बहुत घातक था। उसके बाद यह दूसरा सुपर साइक्लोन शेप ले लिया है और जब ये लैंडफॉल करेगा, जो कि 20 तारीख की सुबह या दोपहर तक करेगा, उस वक्त भी यह सुपर साइक्लोन की कैटेगरी से थोड़ा नीचे जाकर एक्सट्रीमली सीवियर साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म की कैटेगरी में रहेगा, जो कि साइक्लोन फोनी जो मई 2019 में हुआ था उसके समकक्ष होगा। तो यह एक चिंताजनक विषय है और सभी राज्यों से आग्रह होगा, जो राज्य इसमें इम्पैक्टेड होने वाले हैं, विशेषकर पश्चिम बंगाल और उड़ीसा, उनसे ये आग्रह होगा कि जो तैयारी है वो मुकम्मल तैयारी करने की दिशा में आवश्यक कार्रवाई करें। वो तैयारी ऑलरेडी कर रहे हैं। इसके विषय में भारत सरकार बहुत गंभीर है। आज ही माननीय कैबिनेट सचिव जी ने नेशनल क्राइसिस मैनेजमेंट कमेटी की मीटिंग ली। आज ही माननीय श्री अमित शाह जी ने, जो कि भारत सरकार के गृह मंत्री हैं, उन्होंने इसकी रिव्यू मीटिंग ली और अंततः चेयरमैन नेशनल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटी के हैसियत से और प्राइम मिनिस्टर की हैसियत से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी इस संबंध में समीक्षा बैठक की, जिसमें सभी वरीय पदाधिकारी उपस्थित थे। अतः इस पूरे साइक्लोन को पूरी गंभीरता से लिया जा रहा है और सभी तरह का समन्वय राज्य सरकार से किया जा रहा है। इसमें चिंता का विषय यह भी है कि जब 20 तारीख को यह लैंडफॉल करेगा तो जो कच्चे मकान हैं, खपरेल मकान हैं, या जो पावर के लाइंस हैं या पोल्स हैं, या लोगों की जान का जो खतरा है वो बना रहता है। इसलिए यहाँ पर इवैक्यूएशन की बहुत ज़रूरत है और जान माल की सुरक्षा की पूरी तैयारी की ज़रूरत है। उसी के अनुरूप पश्चिम बंगाल में 17 टीमें एनडीआरएफ मुहैया करा रहा है और 5 टीमों को स्टैंड बाय रख रहा है और इसी तरह उड़ीसा में एनडीआरएफ की 13 टीमें दी जा रही हैं और 7 टीमों को स्टैंड बाय रखा गया है। अतः एनडीआरएफ पूरी तरह से तैयार है और राज्य सरकारों को पूरी तरह से मदद करने के लिए कटिबद्ध है। आशा है कम से कम जान माल की सुरक्षा रखते हुए हम लोग इस खतरे को पार पाएंगे। धन्यवाद। जय हिंद।
That was all the updates about Cyclone Amphan. Let's now get you all the COVID-related information on this special broadcast. Now, the Indian Council of Medical Research has updated its testing strategy for COVID-19 in the country. According to the revised strategy, tests would be conducted in following cases. Take a look at these graphics. All symptomatic individuals with a history of international travel in the last 14 days, all symptomatic contacts of lab-confirmed cases, all symptomatic healthcare workers or frontline workers involved in containment and mitigation of COVID-19, all patients of severe acute respiratory infection, asymptomatic direct and high-risk contacts of a confirmed case to be tested once between days 5 and 10 of coming into contact, all symptomatic influenza-like illness within hotspots or containment zones, all hospitalized patients who develop influenza-like illness symptoms, all symptomatic influenza-like illness among returnees and migrants within 7 days of the illness, and no emergency procedure should be delayed for lack of testing. Right, moving on, India's largest car maker, Maruti Suzuki, resumed manufacturing at its Gurugram plant. All activities are carried out strictly in accordance with the regulations and guidelines. The move follows the federal government's decision to allow gradual resumption of economic activity by relaxing lockdown measures in certain pockets identified as green and orange zones. Earlier, Maruti restarted operations at its Manesar plant on 12th May. Its facilities at Manesar and Gurgaon have an installed capacity to manufacture 15.5 lakh vehicles per annum. Now, it's not just big companies like Maruti that are limping back to normalcy. The recently announced economic stimulus package for the MSME sector has given a new lease of life to the famous brass industry of Muradabad in Uttar Pradesh. The city's handicraft industry accounts for more than 40% of India's handicraft exports. Neeraj Singh reports.
This crackling voice of metal is a proof that industries which were closed in the brass city have now started functioning again. Businessmen and industrialists were concerned as the industrial work stopped from last 1.5 months. After ease of lockdown measures, new set of rules allowed functioning of industries, which has provided a big relief to all workers. The economic package of the Modi government amid lockdown has given a new life to such businesses.
मैं सबसे पहले तो प्रधानमंत्री जी का धन्यवाद करता हूं कि उन्होंने इतना बड़ा पैकेज जो हिंदुस्तान की हिस्ट्री में कभी नहीं हुआ, इतने बड़े पैकेज की अनाउंसमेंट हुई है। इसके लिए भारत सरकार धन्यवाद की पात्र है। हम उसी की एग्जीक्यूशन की तैयारी में लगे हैं और ये मेरे पास करीब 50,000 कैंडल का ऑर्डर है और यही एक ऑर्डर इस वक्त चल रहा है और इसकी तैयारी हो रही है।
Gradually, people are returning back to work and machines and have now started the brass cutting and melting work. Muradabad's brass goods are not only recognized in the country but have also been appreciated globally. With inputs from Neeraj Singh, Muradabad, DD India.
Time now for our Ground Zero segment, in which we get you ground reports from our correspondents. We begin with Bengaluru. Aisha Khanam reports on the new lockdown guidelines announced by the Karnataka government.
Garden City, Bangalore will have the parks open from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. in morning from tomorrow onwards. This is part of the lockdown 4 measures that Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa announced today at Bangalore. Now, as part of the lockdown 4 measures, Karnataka government has taken a decision to start the bus services inter-district and also allow the taxis and cabs to operate on road with conditions applied. It will be mandatory for the taxis to follow the rule of only 2 passengers in the taxis, and also the government has allowed only 30 passengers per bus in the inter-district bus services. Besides this, Karnataka government has taken a decision to observe the Sundays as total lockdown. There will be no movement of vehicles and the shops will be shut on Sundays, and this will be 2 Sundays till May 31st. Former Union Minister C.M. Ibrahim has demanded that the government give permission to the people to observe Eid Namaz on 25th May at the Eidgahs, but the government has rejected this demand as the Central Ministry of Home Affairs has clearly said that there will be ban on congregation of any religious gathering. Hence, the Eid Namaz will be performed at home on May 25th in Bangalore like rest of the country. The Karnataka government is not taking any chances to give more relaxation because there has been a sudden spike of over 84 cases in one day since the COVID-19 spread began in the state. Hence, the government says all the rules will have to be followed and those who flout the lockdown norms will be jailed for 1 year. Aisha Khanam, DD News, Bangalore.
And shifting focus to the northeast now, there's been a spike in the number of COVID-19 cases in Assam. The capital Guwahati registered 34 cases in the past couple of days. Duina Barbarua reports.
Along with the rest of the country, Assam is also enforcing a lockdown 4.0 with some restrictions and relaxations from today. Well, there has been a spike in the number of COVID-19 positive cases, as in Guwahati, 34 cases have been detected in a couple of days, and now the total number of positive cases of COVID-19 in the state stands at 102, with 2 fresh cases been detected today morning, while 41 cases have been discharged, 57 are active cases, while 3 persons have died and 2 migrated. However, the Chief Minister of Assam have instructed the concerned departments, especially the PNRD and Skill Development Department, to provide job cards to the Shramiks or migrant workers under MNREGA, and also to provide job opportunities through skilled upgradation under skill development programs to those who have come from outside. Meanwhile, the curfew imposed in the state earlier was from 6 p.m. in the evening till 6 a.m. in the morning next day, but now it has been relaxed for 1 hour, and the curfew now imposed is from 7 p.m. in the evening till 7 a.m. in the morning. With Bhaskar, this is Rina for DD India.
Right, and now to our fact check segment. A photograph is doing the rounds of social media. It shows a crowded train allegedly carrying migrant labor from Maharashtra to West Bengal. Now, the Press Information Bureau's fact check team says it is a fake. It is an old video of an overcrowded train in Bangladesh from the year 2018. And now to a ground report from our network of foreign correspondents. Now, US President Trump is sending ventilators to India. Nick Harper reports from Washington, D.C.
Or some potentially good news for the relationship between India and the United States. US President Donald Trump announcing that the two countries would be working much more closely together to try and beat COVID-19. He said in a tweet that the US would be donating ventilators to, he said, our friends in India. And he said that he stood by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during this difficult time of the pandemic. He also announced that the two countries would work closely together to try and develop a vaccine. And he told reporters that there were great scientists and researchers in India. Now, Donald Trump thinks that he may be able to get a vaccine together by December, before the end of this year, although scientists in the US have been cautioning him, saying that it's likely to take longer, potentially into next year, a good year away from now by some estimates. However, on Friday, he announced the news that the US was speeding up the development of vaccines. He announced Operation Warp Speed. He said that he was looking to going forward on vaccine development at record speed, and he's hoping that the US economy will be able to reopen as soon as possible, either with or without that vaccine.
Right, moving on. In the UK, travelling on buses and trains is still not permitted. So the government there has announced a $2.42 billion fund for encouraging quote-unquote active travel, such as cycling and walking. A portion of this money can be used to make changes to the roads. Prime Minister Boris Johnson described it as an opportunity for a quote-unquote golden age for cycling. Now, some people were seen cycling around London to encourage people to swap their cars for bikes. In Argentina, lawmakers used video conference for legislative proceedings. The upper chamber of the Argentine legislature, led by Vice President Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, held an online plenary session. The lawmakers signed up on a speakers list in advance of the proceedings. President Alberto Fernández ordered Argentines to remain at home. He extended the lockdown till 24th May. Argentina has registered more than 8,000 COVID-19 cases till now. And Brazil has overtaken Spain and Italy to become the country with the 4th largest number of coronavirus cases in the world. A total of 2,41,080 cases were reported in Brazil. The death toll there stands at 16,118. And now take a look at what else is making news around the world. China's foreign ministry says it is premature to immediately launch an investigation into the origin and spread of the coronavirus. Its spokesperson Zhao Lijian told reporters during a daily briefing in Beijing that the majority of the countries believe the pandemic is not yet over. A resolution will be put forward on 19th May, that's tomorrow, if it gains backing from 2/3 of the 194 members of the World Health Assembly, the governing body of the World Health Organization. And that's a wrap on this special broadcast, but news continues here on DD India. You can catch all the latest updates on our social media, mobile and digital platforms. I want to leave you with a video message sent by a little girl just for you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Right, we'll play out that video in just a bit, but just to bring our viewers up to speed with all that's happening around the world. Now, we've seen India combat COVID-19 virus energetically with all the resources at one's command, and we'll try to bring more updates going forward. But for now, it's a wrap on this special broadcast. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.